Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. The Dave Chappelle controversy keeps going. It rolls on. No matter what else we should be talking about, Dave Chappelle's Netflix special has become the focal point of the media in this country. It is not the rapidly rising prices of utilities, of food. It is not the massive homelessness problem. It is not the inability of the government in Washington to function. It is not any of those things. It is the Dave Chappelle Netflix special where there are employees of Netflix who are angry at this, staging a walkout of the special. So it is a special that I, full disclosure, have not seen all of. I watched a little bit of it. You know, he's a master. Was it the funniest thing in the world? No. Is he expressing an opinion held by the vast majority of human beings about men and women? Yes. But the CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, who's Greek, right?
I believe so, yes.
Interesting. So, because there's not a lot of successful Greek people. Mm-hmm. There's really not.
That's true.
The vast majority of Greeks are not doing well. Mm. But some of them are, right? They own diners, but they're more working class people. Mm. And Ted Sarandos, good for him. There's John Stamos. There's a few of them.
A couple, yeah.
Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife. Mm. It's not a huge group. Mm. So Ted Sarandos, Greek, Giannis Papas, Greek, defended Dave Chappelle and said, listen, guys, we're going to put out things. You may not like them. We don't think it's going to lead to real-world violence against trans people. That was basically the gist of his statement. Netflix chief again defends Chappelle's special. Quote, content doesn't directly translate to real-world harm. He said, we have Dave Chappelle on our platform. We also have Hannah Gadsby. And then Hannah Gadsby, who we don't know where she's been. She's somewhere in Australia enforcing a lockdown. I'll tell you that much. Where is she? She's in New Zealand, right? Blinking? Anyway, Hannah Gadsby, she's atypical, neurodivergent, whatever. She's not always with us. And when she is with us, she says some very disturbing things and then goes back to where she lives. And that's great. But she doesn't really know what's going on. Or she's kind of fuzzy. It just seems like she's like a fuzzy photograph, right? Her hair is never quite done. She's just kind of low, and this is the way it is. Mullen does a great impression of her. But every now and then she gets real fired up. You know, when someone insults Greta Thunberg or whatever. She gets real fired up when a white guy does something bad. So she looked at Ted Sarandos. She's like, fuck him. And she literally said, hey, Ted Sarandos, just a quick note to let you know that I would prefer if you didn't drag my name into your mess. Now I have to deal with even more of the hate and anger that Dave Chappelle's fans like to unleash on me every time Dave gets $20 million to process his emotionally stunted partial worldview. Fuck you and your amoral algorithm cult. I do what? With more backbone than you? What is that word?
I can do more shits.
I could do more shits with more backbone than you. What?
What?
But this is what I mean. She's not fully with us.
Yeah.
She's not fully with us. And God bless her. She's a child of God. She goes, that's just a joke. I definitely didn't cross a line because you just told the world there isn't one. Gadsby captured her post. Yes, I watched the whole thing. Leave me alone. Trans is beautiful. Comedy is dead. I killed it. Those are the hashtags.
Mm. It says here she's trans as well. I didn't know that.
Well, I didn't either.
I had no idea.
I had no idea. Yeah. Does she talk about this in the net?
I don't think so.
I don't remember it.
No, right?
I don't know. Well, I want to see them, both of them, hash it out. Mm. You know? Who cares about any of this? Comedy's dumb. Stop watching it. Stop watching comedy specials. Get a life. Truly. Stop watching comedy specials. Stop watching specials. You have horrible lives. You have horrible lives. People are doing so much cool shit on this planet. Stop watching fucking anybody talk for an hour. Except this show. Because this is different. But the others out there are wasting your time. Not me, never would. I respect you. Stop. Turn it off. Turn it off. And turn this on. they're canceling Halloween in Seattle, which makes me think, or not canceling it, but there's a school in Seattle where they're banning the Halloween parade, which makes you glad I own a house in Texas because, you know, it's good to hedge your bets and you don't know what's going to happen with these people. I don't know what's going to happen. Seattle Elementary School cancels its annual pumpkin parade because it, quote, I don't even understand this, marginalizes students of color who don't celebrate Halloween. Who are these students that do not celebrate Halloween? I'm truly confused. Benjamin Franklin Day Elementary School. By the way, how is that still the name of this school? Benjamin Franklin Day Elementary School has canceled its upcoming Halloween parade because it, quote, marginalizes students of color. Administrators claim that a number of students, especially African-American boys, do not celebrate Halloween and feel excluded. I've never heard of this. Have you heard of this? We have our friends on the couch. I've never heard that African-American boys do not celebrate Halloween.
No, never heard that.
I've never heard of that.
Unless they're Muslim, perhaps.
I guess, but I don't even know. Are they, what about all the gang initiations on Halloween? There's tons of gang initiations on Halloween, and I think African-American boys probably participate in that, as do white boys and many young men. So I hope we're not canceling that. As a school with a foundational beliefs around equity for our students and families. See, I don't even understand what this means here. Let's get rid of the pumpkin parade event. We're getting rid of the pumpkin parade and requesting that students do not come to school in costumes. And I think part of it is that certain kids don't have money for costumes. But that was always the way it was. And forever, there's been Halloween parades where kids would show up, and some of the kids had really cool costumes. Some of the kids came in with costumes their parents made. And then there was the dirty kid. There's a kid named Ryan. I don't want to say his name. He was dirty, filthy. And he would come in, white guy, Irish kid, and he would come in filthy. And his parents would just beat him every day and night, and they would piss on him, and he never had anything. And he would come to school, and he would always look like high, but he was never high. But I think he was just getting beaten so much, and he was malnourished. He used to eat like pixie sticks and Fun Dip. You know, it was bad. So this kid Ryan would come, and he'd be embarrassed because he'd be like, oh, it's Halloween. I forgot. We're like, and it was rough. It was very sad. But then, like, the teachers would give him, like, a pumpkin mask so he could do the parade with everybody else. So this poor kid who smelled like beer piss from a bar and who was still bloody from the parents just kicking the shit out of him would just put on a pumpkin mask and walk. Why, if you cancel it, his life's not going to get better. That's my point. His life doesn't get better. Ryan's parents don't decide to love him. They don't even know the parade's happening. They don't give a shit. So he would be sad, kind of. He would be sad. I remember we went to his house once to smoke cigarettes. And he goes, my house is kind of messy. And I was like, but I hang out at Rosie's, the crack house, 3 doors down from him. He goes, right. I'm like, I don't care. We don't care. But we went in there, and you could see just cereal and just cigarettes, like ashtrays overflowing with cigarettes. Like, he had a bad life. Certain kids have a bad life. It's very, very hard, you know? And he was the type of kid who they're talking about, like, not, you know, privileged, didn't have parents that cared, and didn't show up with the uniform, you know? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, with the Halloween costume. He didn't have, so the teachers would, like, give him, because they had those little pumpkin masks. They were plastic, and they would go on.
With the one string.
Yeah, it was one string. It was not a lot. Yeah. It wasn't good. But then there was a girl who was like 600 pounds. They dressed her as a princess. Like, her parents brought her in, and she was just, like, walking around as a princess. And then, like, most of the kids had masks, right? Cool kids have masks, like Freddy Krueger, like, fuck it. Yeah, we're going to kill you. It's Halloween. And then, like, the fat girl, like the real fat one, her name was Jennifer. She'd go like this. Like, she would just do this every day with her head. I don't know why. It might have been a thing, but she would go like this every day.
I know what you mean.
She would just do this every single day like this. And they put her in a princess outfit, and she would walk like this. And then Ryan, who smelled like piss, would have his little thing. It was nice, is my point. It was a nice day. And you can't ruin this. It's not, you can't take this away for kids. Not everybody. It's insane. Everyone celebrates Halloween. Halloween is about eating candy and fucking smashing fucking car windows or throwing eggs, shaving cream, vandalism. The idea that you would just vandalize things. It's a beautiful idea. And these are people that are pro-vandalism. They love vandalism. Well, where do you think people get the itch? It starts with Halloween. They don't just get into Antifa. You start with Halloween. You do a few, a couple of eggs, a little shaving cream on the stop sign, and then you graduate to, federal banks in Portland. But I don't understand why they're taking this away. Is there any reasoning for this at all? Is there any reasoning?
They decided to cancel the event this year because it'd be upsetting for children who can't afford a costume. That's all it is.
But then just buy them costumes. You cheap fucks. Why not buy them costumes?
Well, also they cite the loud noise levels and crowds are triggering for some children.
Well, that I agree with. I don't like the noise. Get rid of it. I do agree with that. I don't like the noise at all. That's a very good point. All right, well, we'll have to skip it this year.